Good morning, Franklin Pierce. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Donna Decker, and I teach English, and I'm one of the co-founders of the Women, Gender, and Leadership Program, which is sponsoring this event today, along with the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Council. It is my privilege to start out today by introducing our president, Kim Mooney.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm really honored to be invited to say a few words to open this women's rally. And as Donna and I were just saying, there's just so much to say, but I'm going to limit myself and I reflected and I thought about 35 years ago in 1987, the same year March was established as National Women's History Month. I was a graduate assistant in my psychology doctoral program at the University of New Hampshire. And that was also the first year I had the opportunity to discover something I loved and still do, teaching. One of the courses I developed at UNH and then taught for many years as a psychology faculty member at St. Lawrence University was psychology of sex roles. Prior to teaching the course, I didn't have access to enrolling in a class that offered such an essential framework for my own understanding of and navigation of the world. But I am proud of the fact that at Franklin Pierce, you now do. We are entering the 20th year of offering a certificate program in women, gender, and leadership. And it is led, absolutely, and it is led by faculty who are absolutely committed to ensuring that Franklin Pierce students not only examine and question the social constructs of gender and sexuality, but also embark on lifelong journeys to analyze and understand the interconnectedness among gender, race, class, sexuality, and transnational issues. And this Franklin Pierce Certificate Program also qualifies its recipients for leadership positions in these domains of knowledge. I really do applaud the longevity and the success and the impact of our Women, Gender, and Leadership Program, and I congratulate Donna as one of our co-founders. Thank you. With as much progress as we have made in this country honoring and celebrating women's contributions and indelible impacts on our culture and our economy, we know this is not true everywhere on the planet, and we know that we cannot expect that there's a moment of closure ahead, a time, a place, or an event that marks a finish line, where the need to pursue scholarship on and activism for all genders culminates. It's just not going to be that way. This is a journey. Just 2 days ago, I opened the Chronicle of Higher Education to read that last month, the Wyoming State Senate passed legislation that would prevent the University of Wyoming from using state funds to support part of its curriculum, the Gender and Women's Studies program. And although the amendment did not get supported in the Wyoming House, the effort to both discredit a scholarly interdisciplinary program and limit academic freedom is deeply disturbing. The associate director of that program made a critical point that is true for our Franklin Pierce program as well when she said, quote, "We have a long theoretical tradition that many other disciplines draw from. Voices that have provided lenses that have allowed other fields to question their own biases." Franklin Pierce Board of Trustees, our administration, our faculty, our staff, our students, we are a university deeply committed to academic freedom. We are a university that welcomes diverse viewpoints to expand our learning and to expand our humanity. We are a university that advocates for the teaching of critical race theory and for the teaching of women, gender, and leadership. So here's the thing. We, as a community, may not have to worry about access to these academic freedoms at Franklin Pierce, but we should always be ready to protect them. I am proud to lead a university that embraces and honors all sexualities, all genders, all. Thank you.
Hello. So I also want to acknowledge that among the women, gender, and leadership faculty who are here today are Jess Landis and Verna DeLauer. So welcome to our rally, #WeHearYou. Who exactly do we hear? And what do we hear them saying? Well, I propose that today we listen to our own women of Pierce, Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson. As God bless her, she is heard by folks who can and should confirm her as the first African American woman on the Supreme Court. We need to listen to the people of Ukraine who are suffering under a toxic patriarchal war. And we need to listen to the people of Russia who are suffering under a toxic gaslighting. We need to listen to Angela Davis. Many of you are too young to know who that is, but she's awesome. And she challenges us all. People are the motors of history. If there's going to be change, it's up to us. It's up to you, the young, the older, the evolving, the spirited, the committed. So this is Women's History Month. And as our president told us, in 1987, Congress declared the entire month Women's History Month. So we're here to celebrate successes and to raise alarms, I suppose. What do we celebrate? I'm going to count on you all to come up here and tell us, but I'm going to give you a few. We're going to celebrate the United States women's soccer team reaching a historical equal pay settlement. Apparently the women's basketball teams are now considered part of March Madness. This is big. A story out of the UT, University of Texas, Austin. Dr. Evdokia Nikolova, assistant professor of electrical engineering and computer engineering. She was denied tenure in 2019 because she was pregnant. We're not in the 1950s, people. Nevertheless, she was denied tenure. But a federal jury found her credible and has awarded her $3 million. That's how we do it. That's how we do it. Nevertheless, there are successes, but we have work to do. There is an urgent need to listen and hear the voices of women because our transgender women and men are being targeted by new laws and policies. Our women friends tell us they've been hurt. Over their lifetimes, 1 in 3 women in the world experience violence at the hands of an intimate partner. Our gay and lesbian friends are being targeted by new laws and policies as well. Our Asian American women are being victims of hate crimes. Our own social media folks like Kim Kardashian are being victimized by an enraged ex. For all of us, reproductive rights are being crucified. 22 states passed new laws regulating access to abortion in 2021. Our right to our own bodies and to make choices about our bodies is being undermined. Title IX, which guarantees gender equality in educational institutions, was rolled back by our last presidential administration, and we need to get that back. The U.S. Secret Service reports, according to the National Threat Assessment Center, that one of the major risks in our country right now is by incels, male violence against women, because involuntary celibates' inability to form intimate relationships with women cause them to think they need to be able to be violent to women. There are a number of cases I could cite, but I'll skip them for right now. The pay gap. The pay gap is a problem. Our women graduates should make the same amount of money as their male peers for doing the same job, and they do not currently. In the United States, for every dollar a man earns, a white woman earns 83 cents, a black woman earns 63 cents, an indigenous woman 60 cents, a Latina woman 54 cents, and an Asian American woman 87 cents. A few more stats before I stop. In Congress, there are 145 women holding seats, which is great, except that there are 535 seats. That's 27.1%. Of these 145 women, 95 are white, 26 are black, and 14 are Latino. We need to keep in mind our intersectionality. The only state to never send a woman to Congress is what? Can you guess? I might have thought that. It's Vermont. Vermont. Historically, women serving in Congress to date have made up 3.1% of all members of Congress. We need to hear women. So let's hear our own women and men come up to the microphone to share. We are listening. We hear you.
Hi everyone, I'm Verna DeLauer and I teach in the Women and Gender Leadership Program. I also teach in Environmental Studies and I am freezing, but I'm going to try to get through this. A friend of mine shared a story with me the other day and I wanted to start with that story. She said, I didn't realize then, but now as an adult, I see how 5 words repeated in my childhood home impacted me throughout my adulthood. Don't throw like a girl. I was the only girl of a family of 5. I heard these words told to my brothers on many occasions by both of my parents. At the time, I might have laughed or even agreed with this point. But in retrospect, it made me doubt myself, my worth, my abilities, my mother's worth, and the worth of women in general. It created a hierarchy in our home. If you wanted to be good or strong, don't act like a girl. I never joined sports. I asked one of my brothers recently if he remembers this. At first he said no, but then after more thought, he said he did remember. But at the time he didn't think much of it, other than that being feminine was weak. He then told me what he did remember. Times when we had to be somewhere as a family and our mom was, quote, making us late, and how we all rolled our eyes and said things like, she's in the bathroom putting on her face so that she's presentable. He then heard himself saying this about his own wife to his kids. And his daughter said, Dad, Mom is cleaning up our mess so that we come home to a clean house. How can you say that? My brother said this made him feel ashamed because he wasn't seeing his wife as a whole person, and he was inadvertently teaching his kids to do the same. And the thought of his daughter being treated like that by her future partner made him sick to his stomach. Sexism may not be obvious to you at first, but has profound impacts on someone's life and the lives of those around them and can be passed down by generations. So my Women and Gender Leadership class is doing an advocacy program, and we'll be collecting stories and artifacts of students' experiences with sexism. Sexism is any act, word, image, gesture based on the idea that someone is inferior because of their sex or gender identity. Sexism is harmful. It can produce feelings of worthlessness, self-censorship, and changes in behavior. Sexism lies at the root of gender inequality, impacting women and girls disproportionately. Individual acts of sexism, such as sexist jokes or sexist language, like you throw like a girl, may seem benign, but can create a climate of intimidation, fear, and insecurity, which can lead to the acceptance of violence. So our advocacy project, which we are calling #WeHearYou, and I want to shout out to Ashley Quelch, who came up with that name for the rally today and our advocacy project, will give students an opportunity to share stories and artifacts anonymously and in a safe space through writing and artistic expression. So look for that announcement, and I hope that you all come and participate. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Alex. I am also freezing. I am reciting I Am a Nasty Woman, originally written by Nina Donovan, a 19-year-old from Franklin, Tennessee, performed by Ashley Judd in 2017 at the Women's Rights Movement rally in DC. Okay. I am a nasty woman. I am not as nasty as a man who looks like he bathes in Cheeto dust. a man whose words are a diss track to America. Electoral College sanctioned hate speech contaminating this national anthem. I am not as nasty as Confederate flags being tattooed across my city. Maybe the South actually is gonna rise again. Maybe for some, it never really fell. Blacks are still in shackles and graves just for being black. Slavery has been reinterpreted as the prison system in front of people who see melanin as animal skin. I am not as nasty as swastikas being painted on pride flags. And I didn't know the devil could be resurrected, but I feel Hitler in these streets. A mustache traded for a toupee. Nazis renamed the cabinet. Electroconversion therapy, the new gas chambers. Shaming the gay out of America, turning rainbows into suicide notes. I am not as nasty as racism, fraud, conflict of interest, homophobia, sexual assault, transphobia, white supremacy, misogyny, white privilege, ignorance. I am not as nasty as using little girls like Pokemon before their bodies are even developed. I am not as nasty as your own daughter being your favorite sex symbol, like your wet dream converged with your own genes. But yeah, I am a nasty woman. I am a loud, vulgar, proud woman. I am not nasty like the combo of Trump and Pence being served up to me in my voting booth. I am nasty like the battles fought by my grandmothers to get me into that voting booth. I am nasty like the fight for wage equality. Scarlett Johansson, why were the female actors paid less than half of what the male actors earned last year? See, even when we do go into higher paying jobs, our wages are still cut in half by a blade sharpened by testosterone. Why is the work of a black woman and a Hispanic woman worth 63 and 54 cents of a white man's privileged daughter? This is not a feminist myth. This is inequality. We are not here to be debunked. We are here to be respected. We are here to be nasty. I am nasty like the blood stains on my bed sheets. We don't actually choose if and when to have our periods. Believe me, if we did, some of us would. We don't actually like throwing out our favorite pair of underpants. Tell me, why are tampons and pads still taxed when Viagra and Rogaine are not? Is your erection really more than protecting the sacred, messy part of my womanhood? Is the bloodstain on my jeans really more embarrassing than your thinning hair? I know, it's hard to look at your own entitlement and privilege. You might be afraid of the truth. I am unafraid to be honest. It may sound petty bringing up a few extra cents. It adds up to the change I have yet to see in my country. I can't see. My eyes are too busy praying to my feet, hoping you don't mistake eye contact for wanting physical contact. Half my life spent zipping up my smile, hoping you don't think I want to unzip your pants. I am unafraid to be nasty because I am nasty like Susan, Elizabeth, Eleanor, Amelia, Rosa, Gloria, Condoleezza, Sonia, Malala, Michelle, Sojourner. And our pussies ain't for grabbing. Therefore, reminding you that our balls are stronger than America's ever will be. Our pussies are for our pleasure. They're for bathing new generations of filthy, nasty, proud, vulgar, Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, you name it. So, if you are a nasty woman, or if you love someone who is a nasty woman, let me hear you say, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
All right, what's up, y'all? I'm EJ. I'm on the football team here. I took a class with Professor Decker. I'm taking it right now, actually, and it's Slavery, Literature, and Legacy. And I was going to say a quote from the book Beloved. I really like that book, and it's a good quote. And I feel like it applies here. It says, some things you forget, others you never do. Places are still there. If a house burns down, it is still gone. But the place, the picture of it, stays. And not just in the memory, but out there in the world. And I say this because teaching of women's history needs to continue to be taught and embraced so that it can be passed on. Just like the picture of the house, everyone being here is embracing women's history, and they're supporting the topic. And I really appreciate everybody being out here, and it's really awesome to see all you guys. And happy Women's History Month.
Hi everyone, my name is Abby. I am part of the Women, Gender, and Leadership Certificate. I'm going to be reading an excerpt from Dr. Jamila Parrott. She is the President and CEO of Physicians for Reproductive Health and OBGYN in Washington, D.C., and this is regards to the issues of abortion currently in 2022. As an OBGYN and a provider of abortion care, my wish for 2022 is that we make historic strides in shifting the way we support those seeking to access the reproductive health they need, prioritizing care that is safe, equitable, compassionate, and timely. As healthcare providers, this requires us to understand and grapple with the legacies of oppression, genocide, and enslavement, upon which the field of medicine and obstetrics and gynecology specifically was built. Our way forward in the work, our lives, and our communities depend upon it.
Hi, everybody. It's awesome to see you all here. I'm Jess Landis. I am teaching Intro to Women and Gender Studies in the fall. So if you're interested, please sign up and take that. I'm also part of the Women in Leadership program here. So I was going to read a little excerpt from a writer that I freaking love. She's one of my heroes. Her name is Caitlin Moran. She's an English writer who started, her story is even badass. I'll just say that. She started as a music journalist. When she was 16 years old, she wrote an article for an alternative music magazine called NME in the early 90s. And she was 16. She just sent in the article, didn't tell them she was 16. They invited her in, and she continued to have a very successful music journalism career. After that, she was the first person at the age of 18 to interview Nirvana in the UK. She's amazing. But she has sort of parlayed that into being an essayist and a novelist. She kind of broke onto the scene about 10, 12 years ago with a book called How to Be a Woman. And this is the follow-up to that book. It's a series of essays. This is called More Than a Woman. It came out about 2 years ago. And this is out of a chapter called, so this is more of her evolving into a middle-aged woman, right? And this is her parenting her teenage daughter. And she sort of has this moment where her heart breaks because her teenage daughter comes in and says, "I'm ugly. The girls at school called me ugly," right? And she's like, how do you respond to this? So she says, page back. Okay, she says, "The idea of what makes a woman beautiful is cruel because so much of what we deem to be traditional beauty is down to luck. And even if you are lucky enough to be born with it, it's down to yet more luck if you can keep it. Hormones, acne, a broken nose, alopecia, stretch marks, growing too tall or not tall enough. So much of what makes us sad about not being beautiful is, actually, a deeply buried righteous anger. An anger about not being able to control our faces and bodies. An anger about not being able to control other people's judgment of you. An anger that the world has made up its mind a long time ago about what beauty is. And you didn't get to sit in on that committee. And neither did any of your friends. You did not get to put a value on yourself or what you hold admirable. That's why we're angry. That's why we cry, i.e. beauty is a tax we are asked to pay in a system we have no vote in. You are beautiful, your friends will say, and mean it. But what use is that if they can't change other people's minds, if they don't get to make films, adverts, TV shows, and catwalks where what they think is beautiful is represented? If they can't change things so everyone else thinks you're beautiful too. Or perhaps they will say something else. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But that is a useless thing to say to a girl who is sad. What? You will only ever be thought of as beautiful by people who love you, thus making one task, being beautiful, suddenly double in size. Gotta make someone love me as well? F my life. But there is a trick to this, and it is saying something that it is sorry. I also just got progressive lenses for the first time, speaking of middle-aged women, so I'm having a hard time seeing this. But then there is a trick to this. It is saying something that is true as soon as you can say it. It is, I think, the single most magic sentence a woman can hear. Are you ready? It's this. You are the beholder. Realizing you are the beholder is a spell that sets you free. You are not the beauty. You are the beholder. You are not to be beautied. You are to see it. You are the one who gets to point at beauty, define it, enjoy it, to write about it, photograph it, sing about it, rejoice in it, and see it in others. Isn't it more fun to look at beauty than be it? To be beautiful often causes problems. To look at beauty causes none. To decide what is beautiful gives you power. And I'll stop there. Thanks, everybody.
Hi, everyone. I teach women's history, so this event is meaningful to me, and I'm glad to see everyone here today. And normally I might read something from Sarah Grimke or Elizabeth Cady Stanton or even Frederick Douglass, a champion of women's rights. But today I will shine a light on Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, who is going through the confirmation process and carrying a triple burden today. One, to get confirmed, to go through the process and be deemed worthy of sitting on the Supreme Court. Two, as the first African American woman to seek this office. And three, as a woman in a world and in a culture that still skews heavily male, and where, you know, she wouldn't be the first woman, but there's still a burden of proof on women to be acceptable. And, you know, when you hear a sitting senator yesterday say, I'm not out to trip her up or to play gotcha, you know, in a statement loaded with the insinuation that he could, that's what women are still up against. So we wish her well, and I think this is a moment to think of her today and to silently encourage her. Thank you.
You'll have to excuse me, I pulled the lyrics up on my phone. This was a poem done, it's called Somewhere in America, done at Brave New Voices in 2017, I believe. Written, it was performed by 3 young ladies. It was ended up on talk shows all over. It became very, very popular. So, here in America, in every single state, they have a set of standards for every subject, a collection of lessons that the teacher is required to teach by the end of the term. But the greatest lessons you will ever teach us will not come from your syllabus. The greatest lessons you will ever teach us, you will not even remember. You never told us what we weren't allowed to say. We just learned how to hold our tongues. Now somewhere in America, there's a child holding a copy of Catcher in the Rye, and there is a child holding a gun. But only one of these things has been banned by their state government, and it's not the one that can rip through flesh. It's the one that says fuck you on more pages than one, because we must control what the people say and how they think. And if they want to become the overseer of their own selves, then we'll show them a real one. And somewhere in America, there's a child sitting at his mother's computer reading the homepage of the KKK's website, and that's open to the public. But that child will have never read To Kill a Mockingbird because the school has banned it for its use of the N-word. Maya Angelou is prohibited because we're not allowed to talk about rape in school. taught that just because something happens doesn't mean you are to talk about it. They built us brand new shopping malls so that we'll forget where we're really standing. On the bones of the Hispanics, on the bones of the slaves, on the bones of the Native Americans, on the bones of those who fought just to speak. Transcontinental Railroad to Japanese internment camps, there are things missing from our history books, but we were taught that it is better to be silent than to make them uncomfortable. Somewhere in America, private schoolgirls search for hours through boutiques, trying to find the prom dress of their dreams, while kids on the south side spend hours searching through the lost and found, 'cause winter's coming soon and that's the only jacket they have. Kids are late to class for working the midnight shift. They give awards for best attendance, but not for keeping your family off the streets. These kids will call your music ghetto. They will tell you you don't talk right. Then they'll get in the backseat of a car with all their friends singing about how they're about that life and we can't stop. Somewhere in America, schools are promoting self-confidence while they whip out their scales and shout out your body fat percentage in class, while heftier girls are hiding away, and the slim-fit beauties can't help but giggle with pride. The preppy kids go thrift shopping because they think it sounds real fun, but we go because that's all we've got money for. Because mama works for the city, mama only gets paid once a month. Somewhere in America, a girl is getting felt up by a grown man on the subway. She's still in her school uniform, and that's part of the appeal. It's hard to run in knee socks and Mary Janes, and all her male teachers know it too. Coaches cover up star players raping freshmen after the dance. Women are killed for rejecting dates, but God forbid I bring my girlfriend to prom. Girls black out drunk at the after party. Take a picture before her wounds wake her. How many pixels is your sanity worth? What's a 4.0 to a cold jury? What'd you learn in class today? Don't walk fast, don't speak loud, keep your hands to yourself, keep your head down, keep your eyes on your own paper. If you don't know the answer, fill in C. Always wear earbuds when you ride the bus alone. If you feel like someone's following you, pretend you're on your phone. A teacher never fails, only you do. Every state in America, the greatest lessons are the ones you don't remember learning.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys can all see it, but I have two quotes here, and it says, "Feminism is the radical notion that women are human beings." And the other one is, "It isn't what we say or what we think that defines us, but what we do." And on the back side, I've made a list of some things I've learned in Verna's class about what women are seen and viewed as. And I wrote things that women are not. Women are not weak. Women are not objects. Women are not property. Women are not less than men. Women are not punching bags. Women are not meat. Women are not unintelligent. Women are not killjoys. And women are not asking for it. Sorry. So mine says, young girls are told they have to be delicate princesses. Hermione taught them that you can be the warrior. Emma Watson.
This is awesome. I'm so glad you came. All right, so what do? You go to the library and you vote for your favorite author. Paul Jenkins has got a whole setup in there. You can kind of see it. I did it the other day. And you can add, if he doesn't have what you want, you can add, okay? Pay attention to the news and protest. If you have a platform like a TikTok, Instagram, one of those, tell folks what's what, okay? Be reading poems like Rachel just did. Support women, believe women, write emails, letters, talk to friends, educate yourself and others, but primarily listen and care. Thank you.